Late at night, when the world grows quiet, ordinary sounds begin to feel different. A fan hums in the corner of the room. A refrigerator clicks, then breathes. A radio hisses between stations, and somewhere inside that noise, something almost sounds like a voice. Not loud, not clear, just enough to make you pause. You lean closer. The sound shifts. The voice disappears. Most people shrug this off, a trick of the ears, a tired mind. But neuroscience doesn't dismiss it so easily. Because what you just experienced is not a malfunction. It is a feature. Your brain is not built to listen passively. It is built to hunt for meaning. And sometimes, when meaning cannot be found, it is created. This is the science behind whispers in static. And once you understand it, you may never hear silence the same way again. Your brain is not a microphone. It is not designed to faithfully record the world exactly as it is. It is designed to interpret, predict, and decide, often before you are aware of it. Sound is one of the most important signals your brain processes. Long before language existed, sound meant survival. A sudden crack in the forest could mean danger. A distant growl could mean death. A familiar voice could mean safety. Evolution rewarded brains that reacted fast, not accurately. So the human auditory system developed a bias. When a sound is unclear, assume it matters. That bias still exists. When sound enters your ears, it is broken into frequencies and sent to the auditory cortex. But the brain does not wait for the signal to be complete. It begins guessing. Neural circuits shaped by years of language exposure immediately try to match incoming noise to known patterns. Phonemes, syllables, rhythms, speech cadences. Static isn't random to your brain. It's incomplete information, and incomplete information is dangerous. So the brain fills in the gaps. This phenomenon is called audio pareidolia, the tendency to perceive meaningful sounds, especially voices, in random noise. It is the auditory equivalent of seeing faces in clouds. But unlike visual illusions, audio pareidolia feels personal. Voices carry intention, emotion, agency, which is why hearing them feels unsettling. Brain imaging studies show that when people report hearing voices in static, the same neural regions activate as when real speech is heard. Broca's area, involved in speech production. Wernicke's area, involved in comprehension. The brain isn't pretending. It is processing the sound as language. This is why whispers can sound structured, why they sometimes feel like they're forming words, why people often report hearing names, especially their own. Your name is one of the most overtrained sound patterns in your brain. It carries emotional weight and survival relevance. So when noise vaguely resembles it, your brain locks on. Importantly, this does not mean the sound contains speech. It means your brain expects speech. Expectation is everything. Modern neuroscience shows that the brain does not wait for reality to happen. It predicts reality in advance. This predictive process applies to vision, movement, and, critically, sound. Your brain constantly generates an internal model of what it expects to hear next. Incoming sound is compared against that model. When sound matches expectation, perception feels normal. When it doesn't, the brain adjusts the perception, not the expectation. In quiet environments, this effect becomes stronger. Silence gives the brain nothing to anchor to, so it searches harder. That's why whispers are often heard at night, in still rooms. When background noise is low, but not absent, fans, engines, static, they provide just enough signal to work with and just enough ambiguity to invite interpretation. Laboratory experiments confirm this. Participants exposed to random noise and told that voices might be present were far more likely to hear them. The sound didn't change. The brain did. This reveals an uncomfortable truth. Perception is not passive. It is negotiated. Your brain is constantly asking, what is this supposed to be? And when no clear answer exists, it chooses the most familiar one, speech. Because throughout human history, speech meant another mind was nearby. And another mind could mean help or harm. The whispers in static are not evidence of anything external. They are evidence of how deeply predictive and how deeply social the human brain truly is. Not everyone hears whispers in static. Two people can sit in the same room, listening to the same noise, a fan, an engine, a hum, and only one will notice something else inside it. This difference is not random, it is neurological. Your brain constantly filters sensory input. At any moment, far more sound enters your ears than your conscious mind can process. So the brain decides what to ignore. This filtering system is called sensory gating. Under normal conditions, sensory gating suppresses background noise. It keeps irrelevant sound from reaching awareness. But sensory gating is not fixed. Stress weakens it. When stress hormones rise, the brain shifts from accuracy to vigilance. Filtering relaxes. More information gets through. This is why anxious individuals are more likely to experience audio pareidolia. Their brains are scanning harder, not because something is wrong, but because something might be. Fatigue amplifies the effect. Sleep deprivation weakens the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for inhibition and reality checking. When that control weakens, internally generated interpretations are less likely to be suppressed. That's why whispers are often reported late at night. The brain is alert. The filters are tired. Isolation also plays a role. Humans are social by design. Our brains evolved to prioritize voices above most other sounds. When social input decreases, the brain becomes more sensitive to voice-like patterns. It is not searching for something supernatural. It is searching for connection. Studies show that people in prolonged isolation are more likely to perceive voices in ambiguous noise. The brain lowers its threshold for detecting speech. Trauma introduces another factor. In people with trauma histories, threat detection systems remain partially active even in safe environments. This state is known as hypervigilance. Hypervigilant brains do not wait for clarity. They act on possibility. Ambiguous noise becomes meaningful. Random sound becomes suspicious. Importantly, this does not imply mental illness. Audio pareidolia exists on a spectrum. At one end, brief, harmless illusions. At the other, persistent hallucinations associated with psychiatric disorders. The difference is not the experience itself, it is insight. People experiencing pareidolia usually recognize that the sound is unclear. They question it. They remain anchored in shared reality. Hearing whispers in static is common. Most people experience it at least once. It is not a malfunction. It is the cost of a brain optimized for survival. False alarms are safer than missed signals. But this leads to a deeper question. If stress, fatigue, and expectation can change what we hear, how much of perception is actually external, and how much is constructed inside the brain? For centuries, perception was thought to work in one direction. Sound enters the ears. The brain processes it. Consciousness experiences it. Neuroscience now shows this model is incomplete. Perception begins with prediction. Your brain constantly generates expectations about what it is about to hear, milliseconds before sound arrives. This framework is called predictive processing. The brain maintains an internal model of the world. Incoming sensory data is used to correct that model. When prediction and input align, perception feels stable. When they don't, the brain must decide which one to trust. In noisy or ambiguous environments, sensory input is weak. Prediction dominates. This is the core mechanism behind whispers in static. The brain expects patterns. It expects language. So when noise vaguely resembles speech, prediction fills in the rest. Neural recordings show that auditory neurons often fire before sound fully resolves. The brain is not waiting. It is leading. This explains why whispers feel structured but incomplete. Fragments, almost words. The prediction is stronger than the signal. Because prediction draws on memory and emotion, the perceived voice often feels personal. In experiments, participants primed with specific words were more likely to hear those words in random noise. The noise never changed. The brain supplied the content. This reveals a critical truth. The brain does not clearly separate external sound from internal expectation. Both are treated as information. This system is essential for normal life. It allows rapid speech comprehension. It fills in missing sounds during conversation. It helps us function in noisy environments. But when sound is ambiguous, the same system misleads us. The voice you hear in static does not come from the outside world. It emerges from the interaction between prediction and uncertainty. This does not make perception false. It makes it constructed. And all perception is constructed. Vision, touch, sound. You do not experience reality directly. You experience the brain's best guess. Whispers in static are rare moments when that process becomes visible. When perception exposes its own machinery, and once you notice it, it becomes difficult to ignore. The unsettling part is not that the brain creates voices. It's how often it constructs reality without you noticing at all. The brain does not like silence. It does not like uncertainty. And it does not tolerate randomness for long. So when sound offers no meaning, the brain supplies one, not because it is broken, but because it is efficient. The whispers in static are not messages. They are not signs. They are not voices from elsewhere. They are the sound of a system doing what it evolved to do. Interpret the world fast enough to survive it. The next time noise feels like it's speaking to you, remember, you are not hearing something external. You are hearing prediction collide with ambiguity. And that is the quiet truth behind the whispers.